Hello and welcome to the Cider Party channel. Trying to find out the truth, trying to find out what's happening in the world. And I've been sort of chatting with a girl called Betty Washam on Facebook. And she's got some very interesting things to talk about. I said, do you want to do a chat on Skype? And she said, yeah, alright. So let's get hold of Betty and see what she's got to say. Very interesting lady, I think.
Yay.
Hello, Betty.
Hi, how are you?
All right. We've been chatting on Facebook and and I've watched all your videos. You're opinionated, I would say.
Yes, I am.
You've got some very interesting stories to tell, and you found out a hell of a lot of stuff. I just don't know where to start, but we'll start at the top. We'll start at the top, and we'll sort of introduce yourself. What state do you live in?
I live in Missouri,
Right.
in the United States of America.
That's sort of in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, right in the middle. Yes. I live in like the southern part, country.
Yeah, I like the one with your hat on, the Stetson. You look
Yes,
like a
I'm
real
a cowgirl.
cowgirl. Real
I
country
am.
girl.
I was born and raised on a dairy farm.
Well, I wasn't raised on a dairy farm, but I worked on a dairy farm as a youngster.
Very hard work, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I was only 7 at the time, and my job was bringing the cows in.
Oh, you had an easy job.
Yeah. Come home from school at 3:30 and walk across the fields and push the cows in.
Oh, well, that was easy.
There was a couple that didn't want to go, mind. You know? And then put them through the milker. And then as I got older, you were doing more and more around the farm.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I suppose I was 13, 14 and I started milking. And 15, 16, I was driving the tractor.
I was driving a tractor at 10 years old. I was getting in cattle at 3 o'clock in the morning, 250 head, to milk 4 on each side, which is 8 at a time. I was actually milking. I was feeding the cows. I would take big 5-gallon buckets and fill them full of grain, with a grain wagon.
Yep.
And then I would stack them onto the truck, and we'd have to do about 70 of those. That's why look at this. My arms are still there after all these years. Then we had to rake and we had to cut, rake, and bale our own hay, and then we had to buck our own hay, and then finally we got a bell wagon. So the bell wagon actually, did everything and then stacked it into the barn.
Can I ask you one favor? Can you try and twist your phone 90 degrees? Wow! I've got a full Betty now.
Oh no!
Yeah, you're full screen now, which is what we want.
Okay.
And that'll come out better on the video, I hope. It's downgraded because we're recording it as live.
Mm-hmm.
But you still look good, mind.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't say it. Yeah, I know. The farmer wouldn't let me milk until the grandfather took over when he went on holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one cow we used to milk by hand. Had the red tape round the tail. And that milk wasn't allowed to go in with the others. There was something wrong with it. It might have been on antibiotics or something was wrong with it.
Yes.
But that had to be milked by hand. And I was about 14 or 15. And he said, come on then, milk it by hand, save me doing it. So that was the first time I ever milked a cow by hand. And it's lovely and warm and, warm, but you weren't allowed to drink that milk. That was disposed of. There must have been something in it.
It was the reason that you had to milk by hand was because the cow had mastitis. And
I
you
might have done. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, you have to have that different than the actual ones that milk, Yeah, you have to, but they have to still be milked until they get over the mastitis.
And then when I was older and 15 and started work, I used to go down the farm and do the haymaking. That was fun. And then
Yeah.
cider and cheese to finish the day. And as a
I didn't like I didn't like my job very much, but it made me pretty preserve and knowing what hard work is
yeah,
and knowing how to work to achieve the things
yeah,
that you want in life.
yeah. Now then, can you explain how Mr. Trump won the election?
Yes, because all of us God-fearing people, we went to vote, and they had the voting machines rigged, and so we used paper ballots.
Ah, I didn't know that. What
Yes.
they rigged the machines?
Yes, you would put Trump in,
Yeah,
and then you would go down and do all the other people,
yeah.
and then when you would come back up, it would be clicked on Hillary.
Oh, so you had the machines taken out and you
Yeah,
ended up with paper.
the machines were owned by Soros. That's why it was a rigged election.
No, I didn't know that. You see,
Yes.
we get we can't get Fox anymore. So
Oh.
the only Fox I get are bits that are on YouTube.
Mhm.
Um, I like the Judge and Hannity. Um,
Yes.
and I used to like Fox because we had it on our Sky channel, but
Yes.
that's been stopped. So the only news I've got is CBN, CNN,
Oh Lord, fake news network.
Bloomberg, and BBC.
Okay, now all of those the news networks that you have, one of the main things you need to know is they are all owned by Jews, which is Jewist.
I didn't know that. Well, the BBC aren't. They're national, but they follow the same line.
They are Jewish. They follow the Jewist, what the
Mm.
Jewist says.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that. I just know the BBC just seems to follow the same story and have the same storyline as CNN.
Yes, that's because they are told what to say. They are told what to say. They are told what they cannot say, and that's just what they want us to see. What
Mm.
they now when you go and you freelance like I do, and then you do your research and things like that, and then you put it out there to America and abroad, you're doing your own research. You're not
Mm.
having somebody tell you what you can do.
Yeah, I know how the uh, police control the stories that come out. I've been involved in a couple of stories, and
Yes.
I used to be because I'm involved with firearms. I was involved with a couple of stories, and the police tried to control the narrative,
Hmm.
and they have management meetings with the producers who tell the editors who tell the reporter. And I said, no, you can't do that. What happened to reporting? What happened to the freelance bit? And I managed to get two stories basically on the straight and narrow. But you can see it every time there's a report. Oh, the police say this and the police say that. And you think, well, hang on a minute. What's really going on?
Well, then once they come out and they say certain things, then they'll have to come back and backtrack again
Yeah,
because they lied the first time, and then they have to come back and backtrack again, and then they make up another scenario, and then it's just hidden and completely gone.
yeah. Well, 9/11 is a prime example.
Yes. Oh yes.
We still don't know who really did that.
Oh, I do.
We
George W. Bush.
Oh, that's who you're pinning it on.
Well, I know because he was with the Saudi Arabians, the princes and stuff. They were all together. They're actually Luciferian followers. They're actually, the
Yeah,
Illuminati pretty much. And the day that the planes crashed in and stuff, it was actually dynamite that was blowing up more than it was anything. And that's how the buildings went down. There was
yeah,
another building behind it that went down as well. Well,
yeah,
that day they had stopped all travel, for planes and stuff.
yeah.
But it sure is funny that they had one plane that left out, and it went to Saudi Arabia.
And it was the Bin Laden family. Is
Yes.
that right? Yeah,
Yes.
I've watched the conspiracy videos, but they don't seem to be conspiracies anymore. They seem to be based on fact. But I think there is a lot of conspiracy theories. I call them conspiracy because everybody knows what I mean. I think
Right.
there's some that muddy the waters deliberately.
Well, did you know when conspiracy theorists came out? Did you know when they did that?
Af,
When they actually made that
yeah,
saying?
after JFK, wasn't it?
Yes. That
Anybody?
people were trying to dig into why he had died, and the reason that, when they was digging and stuff, people would the deep state, which is who we're fighting still now, um, made it narrative and then called everybody conspiracy
Yeah.
theorists. Don't listen to them. They're crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. And then that's where it came from. But people are starting to now realize that people like me that are conspiracy theorists, all of our stuff is coming true.
Yes. And it's based
So
on fact.
it's based on fact.
Yeah.
It's just finding all the facts to present to everyone
Yeah.
is how it
I
works.
had a chat with Field from Able Danger,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's got some real interesting stories. He talks about the flights and the uninterruptible autopilot on planes.
Yes.
And he's saying, as the pilot, I ought to have known it was there.
Well, they also said that the pilot was never hijacked because the door was never opened.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I do so much
Mm.
research because I want American people and the people abroad to know what is going on
Well, this
because
is why I'm talking to you.
this does not just affect my country, but this affects your country and
Yeah.
everyone else's country that is involved because they run our whole world.
Yeah. Well, we've got the Russian ex KGB officer that was allegedly hit by nerve gas, and his
Yeah.
daughter in London.
Yeah, but that never happened.
In Salisbury, I should say, not London.
I've been doing some research on that, and they're actually stating um, something about that it wasn't even nerve gas that killed them. It was a hit.
Really?
Yep. But that's a conspiracy, though, so,
Yeah.
take it for what it is.
Well, they didn't. They didn't. All they said was they were ill in hospital, and they were ill in hospital, and they were sedated, and they hadn't come out of a coma, and then all of a sudden the daughter spoke to a cousin in America, and then the next day it was, oh, she's recovering, and he's sleeping well. So the narrative had to change, and you think, well,
Yes.
what's really going on? I don't know. I
Well,
haven't got the answers.
I believe what's really going on is they were trying to pin it on Russia so that they could go to war with Russia because Russia does not have anything to do with the Illuminati
No.
and the Luciferian
Mm.
satanic child sex trafficking. You know, him and Trump and a lot of our other people, around the globe do not have anything to do with them.
You
So
keep saying the Illuminati. Now, can you explain what the Illuminati is?
the Illuminati is an organization made by the Freemasons back in 1776, from what I'm told.
Yeah, go on, keep going.
And it was a secret society. It was a secret society. Excuse me. And they didn't believe in God. They actually believed in that Babbit. What is that name?
I don't know.
The Bam.
Doesn't matter. But they don't believe in God. They believe in the devil, basically.
Yes, they
Yeah.
believe in Lucifer, and they also do everything that's not in the Bible. Everything that we're told, like when it says in the Bible, you should not look to the east, you should not look to the west, you should not walk down the wicked ways. Every single thing that God tells us in the Bible not to do,
Hmm.
that is what they do. and then some.
Yeah, I had I'd say a friend, but he didn't last for a friend for very long. It gave me uh, trying to think of the word now. He was into black magic
A witch.
and devil worship.
Yep. He was
And
actually what they call that is a witch.
yeah, well, and he gave me a book to read all about devil worship. And he thought because I was shooting and hunting rabbits and skinning deer and working with blood and guts, that I would be that way inclined. And I thought,
Wow.
wow, yeah. I thought, no, I respect the animals. You know, I say thanks very much for having a nice life and thank you for feeding me.
Yes,
You know, very
exactly.
much, yeah, like your Native Americans do. You know, they
Yes.
respect the animals and the
Yes.
wildlife. And this guy just thought because I kill things and eat them, that I would go into devil worship. We didn't
Because
stay friends for very long.
well,
I
yeah,
avoided him after that.
I would hope not. The reason that is because they thought that you would be more susceptible
Yeah.
to them doing the sacrificing, drinking blood, and eating children.
Oh, as well. That wasn't in the book, but it was pretty pretty hair raising to start with. I think it was. It's like the it's like it's like the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes,
That they give you a pamphlet and then hope you'll go along to the meetings,
yes.
and then they want to draw you in, and it's the same style of thing.
It is to an extent. Ju- I believe any religion is not of God, and I would just tell you that right now. I believe that you have to have a personal relationship with, your heavenly Father, and all you have to believe is that Jesus died for our sins, so that we may have, eternal
Yeah,
peace in
yeah,
heaven.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't say I was very religious, um, but I do use God in my arguments against vegetarians.
We are supposed to eat meat.
Precisely.
That
If
is why he said that. That's why he said, "Go find a boar, go find something, and put it on the altar."
yeah,
So that
yeah,
we make it, so that we and put it in the fire, so that we may eat it.
yeah, it says the fish and animals may be meat for you.
Yes,
Um,
that's why Jesus always says, God always says, if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat
uh,
for eternity. But if
uh,
you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day.
yeah, and I also think that the Catholic Church is not the original church.
The Catholic Church is all satanic. Matter of
Oh,
fact, they have now changed the Vatican, and I can show you pictures and proof
mm,
of where it's the cobra, and then when they changed the Vatican, it is the cobra.
didn't know that. You see, I see you've got lots of information that we don't have.
I just do a lot of research because the reason that I started doing research was because I was modeling, and I was going to take this big modeling contract. And they told me that in order for me to do so, I had to meet with someone else that was affiliated with the Illuminati. Now, am I looking this way or am I looking towards you? Because
No,
I can't tell.
you're looking towards me. You're doing well.
Okay. Okay. And so I thought to myself, well, I don't know what the Illuminati is. So I stopped them and I was like, I need to check out what that, I need some time to think about that. And they kept telling me how great it was. That's how you get your $1 million for the year, blah, blah, blah. You have to sign a contract with them on top of signing a contract with us. And so I was just like, well, let me think about this. This is not something I know anything about. I've never heard of the Illuminati. So therefore, I need to think about this.
Yeah.
I started doing my research. The very first person I came through was John Todd. Now, John Todd, his actual name used to be John Collins, the Collins family.
Yeah.
Now, he in 1972 found Jesus Christ. But before that, he was brought up his whole entire life to be a witch. He did have to sacrifice. By the time it was said and done, he had been all over London. He had been all over Great Britain. He had been everywhere. He was the 13th highest priest, which there is 32. But at that time, that was pretty high.
Yeah.
And he talked about how he owned the music industry. He owned the television industry. You know, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
And so he was telling us, he was stating how evil they were and what they really were, and that they were Satan worshipers, and that you will have to sign your name in blood, you will have to sell your soul to the devil, and anyone that gets through into the Illuminati, when they get into the Illuminati, they have to be sodomized, male or female, because there's a part right here on top of your brain that's the God part in your brain. Okay. And when you get sodomized in a very torturous way, it hits that spine on your back and it splits that God part of your brain and it splits it in half. So then you've got one side that is now MK Mind Ultra programmed, and you've got the other side that is now got no God. So they can program and train you any way they want.
Yeah.
Now, when you say you don't want to do something, that's not a good thing. Not
Yeah.
only is there torturing and things like that, but when they have their parties, their $1 million parties, and you pay $200,000-$300,000 to go to their parties, you go downstairs and you sit at a plate with feces and drink urine. Then you torture a child, sodomize it to where its brain splits, the God part's gone. Then they torture them so much and hurt them so much that the ad- adrenochrome in their brain, which is in your adrenaline, they scare them so much that it just rises as high as it can. Then they cut them open, drink their blood, get the high off of the blood, and then they sacrifice them to Lucifer, and then they eat them. They eat the adrenal
Mm.
gland, the pineal gland, and then they sell the body parts, or they have them cooked and ate.
Yeah, because there's a lot of children that go missing that nobody knows what's happened to them.
That's what happens.
Mm.
And
'Cause
they mostly will take them out of the Catholic churches. You know, they'll take them out of Catholic. One of the things I've noticed that they do is they take them out of like boys and girls homes
yeah,
where they have no parents.
yeah, and they just say they run away.
Yes,
Yeah, they just become a missing child.
yes. They also keep these children in cages hanging from the ceiling. Uh, the things that they do to these children. I mean,
Mm.
the video supposedly that's going around with Hillary Clinton right now is her and Yuma Abedin filleting off a little girl that's about
Yeah.
5, filleting
It,
off her face.
is there a relationship between the two of those?
Yes, they are best friends. That she is with the Muslim Brotherhood, and that's how they met and all that. And they're also all Luciferians.
Because somebody was saying that Bill Clinton was CIA and was undercover in the late 60s, early 70s to infiltrate the peace movement. And I wonder if Hillary was the same. Because Yoko Ono, because I'm a great Beatles fan. I
Yes,
love Beatles music.
they sold their soul to the devil as well.
They might have done as well, but I still like Beatles music. And Yoko Ono said to a reporter that she was asked, "Do you think Hillary would win, or are you supporting Hillary?" And she said, "Yes, I hope Hillary wins. I had an affair with her in the 70s." And
Yes,
that would be about the same time that John Lennon left Yoko and went to Los Angeles.
Yes. That is all true. That is all true.
So
I
what's
mean,
going on there? I just think it's very odd. So you've got Hillary, and then Hillary. They say they got a death list of Hillary's people, or the
oh,
Clintons' death
we're
list.
already up to 150 to 200 people.
No,
Yeah, these people don't mess around.
no way.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
You're saying things that I come across it on videos and things, and it's just unbelievable. You think, no, people don't do that. Because you're a
Honestly,
nice guy and you wouldn't do it. You
yeah,
think other people wouldn't do it.
right. I mean, like when you see her, you would not think that she drinks children's blood and sacrifices them and is a Luciferian. You would not ever, I mean, by looking at her, I would never think that.
Yeah.
You just see this grandma, just an evil grandma type of thing.
And what about the daughter then? What about Chelsea?
She wears an upside down cross. Yes, she is also a satanic Luciferian worshiper.
How does Chelsea Clinton manage to be on the what's it, Council for Foreign Relations?
Not anymore. Those have all been shut down.
Oh, have they?
Yes. Clinton
Didn't
Foundation's been shut down. It's being investigated because that was just laundering money from other countries, to help her win. And she was selling our uranium one to Russia, and we don't even have enough uranium one. We have to actually import uranium one in here. And I mean, it's just the things that her and Obama, from Nixon to Bush Sr. to Bush Jr. to Obama, we trusted all the wrong people. And that is how we allowed all of the satanic infiltrated stuff that's in our world right now. I
well
mean,
to show how bad it is, all you got to do is look at the Hammonds in Oregon and the Bundys in Utah.
oh yes, yeah.
The
And they even
government
went to
used,
prison. They even went
yeah,
to prison just protecting their own stuff,
yeah. And
This
that goes right up to the top, and it's linked with the uranium one as well, they say.
Yes, it is. And that's one of the things, that I don't understand, like with this video coming out, and I saw still pictures of it. I did a segment yesterday. I cried. I mean, um just to know that somebody filleted a child's face off and then
Mm,
put it on their face and taunted this child with that child's face on them and then made them do, sexual
yeah.
acts on top of that.
If you're investigating it, you've got to see it. But I would never put it out there in public.
You cannot
You couldn't, could you?
No, 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 no. You never want to download. I've not went on the deep dark web. I've just
Mm,
saw, still shots of it.
yeah.
Honestly, I don't want to watch it.
No,
Okay.
nor do I.
I don't want that satanicness, just
Mm,
coming into my eyeballs. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Um, but I do know that they are saying that it is real and that is what made grown men in New York City at the FBI cry, vomit, and need psychological help. Now, you tell me, how did she not go to prison or be in a firing squad for what
yeah,
is on that video
yeah.
alone?
Why is she still walking around free? I've got to say it's alleged because I'm in Britain, so I've got to say this is alleged, and then we can talk about it then. You see.
Right.
Um, but yeah, why is she still walking around free?
Well, I also decode Q, and Q is the highest intelligency that we can have in the United States of America and abroad. Okay, and they've tried to debunk him and stuff, but I've been
Yeah,
decoding him since October,
yeah,
so I know the difference.
yeah,
And everything that he tells us is everything that's true. That
yeah.
that what I'm researching.
We've got people on YouTube saying Q means this and Q means that, And we got people on Facebook saying this is the latest from Q.
Q is
I,
Trump.
it's either Trump or somebody close to him.
No, it's Trump. Because when he first started, he said, would you like to play a game? Would you like to play 5-tier chess? Trump plays 5-tier chess. He's
I
a
didn't know
genius.
that. Yeah. Yeah, no, the closest I've got is a guy said that it was 5 generals because the military intelligence is owned or controlled by the Marines and that they report direct to the president.
Now, that would make sense to some people, but the reason I know that it's not is because he is now coming out and pretty much just saying, I'm Trump.
Mm.
He's sending his tweet. He's taking pictures of his tweets, and then he's writing underneath them, look at the timestamps, and then Q. And I mean, they match up perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one right after the other. And it's the highest intelligent information you can have. Now, you
Yeah.
guys got to remember, he also went to military school. So
Yes.
when we get these military numbers and all this different stuff, I'm telling you, it's Trump. I knew it from the beginning who it is. And he has brushed shoulders for 50 years with these people.
Yes.
Never joined the Illuminati, knows who all the players are, said he would never run for presidency unless he knew America was in danger. And by gosh, that's what he did.
So you think we can still trust him? He hasn't
Yes, we
sold
can
out to
trust
the
him 100%.
to the bad guys.
We can trust him 100%. He is not the bad guys. He is taking down the bad guys.
Oh, I hope you're right.
We've already been told that Gitmo, you know, Guantanamo Bay, that we have for federal prisoners, all of these child sex traffickers, all these Luciferians, I don't care if they're just civilians, but if they're involved, they're going to be tried through a tribunal or tribunal.
Tribunal, yeah.
Yeah, tribunal military, meaning that they are not going to be, they're going straight to the military courts.
Yeah.
And so now we've been told 2 months ago, I believe we had room for 3,500 people at Gitmo, and now they're making a new prison.
Wow.
We have
Wait.
24,000 unsealed federal indictments.
Yeah. Yes, I've seen that.
The reason that nobody's getting arrested at this point right now, but you're seeing every single day the corruption unfolding, is because the corruption has to start being unfolding.
Yeah.
So that people can start seeing for themselves, so that people can start actually saying, yes, lock them up.
Somebody,
You see what I mean?
somebody will take a plea bargain and start whistling.
They already have.
Oh, good.
Don't be over in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, because most of the judges and that have been put in by the Bushes and Clintons and Obama.
Yes.
And the Bundy trial showed us how corrupt the judicial system is in America now.
Oh, yes. I mean, we got one judge on the Supreme Court. What is her name? She's that little bitty tiny short judge that's like 90 years old.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, but anyways, she wants, if she could have this in America, she wants one sex, because the Babylon that they worship has a boob and it's a man, has boobs and it's a man. Okay.
Is this why they promote so much of the lesbian and homosexual world?
No.
Is this why this is being pushed?
No, I'll tell you why. Okay, hang on. That's a whole another game. Okay. Back in the 19th centuries, 18th centuries, there was men that wanted to be with little boys, and it was called man-boy love. Okay? Well, they never could infiltrate it into the United States of America. So what they set down 4 men around a table that control the world, trying to figure out how they can actually incorporate this, into America. Well, so they started making it, to where two guys were together. Well, actually, this is how it started. They sodomize you. Remember, and I told you this when
Yeah.
you joined the Illuminati. They sodomize you. So everyone that goes in gets sodomized, and then they sodomize other people. So they thought, well, the best way to do it is let's just say that they're gay. Okay. So then they started bringing in, that, and back in the 60s and 70s, men were fighting to be together, things like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't how it was supposed to be. Okay. And then lesbians jumped on the board, 10 years ago? That wasn't how it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
The main important thing is they're trying to bring pedophilia into the United States of America and make it legal. So
Yeah,
now,
I've seen the manifesto of paedophiles that was done in the 70s. I was involved with youth work,
oh, okay.
and we did a lot of the occult stuff at that time, but it wasn't devil worship. It was occults and linked with churches.
It started with Jehovah's
Now,
Witnesses.
Jehovah's Witnesses was one. Then you had the Indian cults, the Buddhist, Hindu um, cults that came out from the Beatles, um, and they were trying to recruit kids. Oh, and the Moonies as well. They were another cult that was around trying to influence kids, and they
Hmm.
wanted rich kids. They wanted rich kids that either the parents would pay blackmail to get the kids back, or they would hand over all their money, or the kids would when they inherited it.
Well, that's kind of like with the Catholic Church. If
Yeah,
you go in as a nun, if you go in as a nun, and you immediately and you take the black veil, which is where you get the black clothes and stuff, you immediately marry Satan, and you have to go and lay in a coffin for 9 hours, and they give you a different name, and you have to cry out everything you've ever known
mm,
because you're never going to be that person again. Now, you do not know that you're selling your soul to the devil. And you do not know that that priest, that father that's going to come in, is going to, consummate the marriage because
yeah,
you are now married to him.
yeah. That's changing your name and the Roman Catholic Church. That has been linked to the taking the Nazis out of Germany in 1945, and they were going to South America. And there was a program. It was on our Discovery Channel. I don't know if you've seen it in the States. And they followed the run, and they had one going north from Germany and one going south. The one that went north went to Denmark and then over to Norway, and then they were taking submarines and boat planes from Norway over to South America. The other route going south went to Austria, where they went to a Catholic church. They were baptized in that Catholic church and changed their name.
Okay, so everything that you are saying is completely true because Q is having us decode who is involved, or having us decode and tell us that there's a cardinal on the north, there's a cardinal on the south, there's a cardinal on the east, and there's a cardinal on the west.
Yeah. And what they were saying was they went to Rome on the southern route, and when they were in Rome, because they had a new name that they were baptized in the church in Austria, the Red Cross then gave them a new passport, and they were able then to go from Rome to Argentina.
The Red Cross is nothing but scammers for the Luciferians. They're not here to help us in disasters. They're not here to help us with whatever happens. They're here to take our money.
Hmm.
Actually, AIDS was created here as well and injected into people so that they could depopulate and so they could make money. And that's one of the things Q just dropped to us in October. It was called Red October. and he was telling us, you know, look at Obama sitting here on Jimmy Kimmel right now talking about needing funding for AIDS program, right? Why do they need that funding? Why is the drug so expensive?
Mm.
They have to be on it for the rest of their lives, right? It was all a sham. It's all a sham, and it's all to depopulate us.
I
So
wouldn't put it
eventually, this
past
is
them.
what's happening right now.
Mm.
Now we have the LGBTQP. LGBTQP is the name of it. The Q stands for queer, and the P stands for pedophile. So pretty much, that is what they're doing.
Well,
They are wanting pedophilia, which is what they've wanted from the very beginning, and now people are sick enough to go along with it and not even know really that they're going along with it.
Betty, I think you've done a wonderful job. We've been on this for almost an hour. I'm going to say thank you very much,
You're welcome.
and we are going to have to talk again.
Oh yes,
This
we
is
got
this
so much
is
more to cover because
you know.
that's what I wanted to tell you. I have the Illuminati after me right now because I told them no, and I just sent you pictures of them using my Let's Chat with Betty, and it says Let's Chat with Betty merchandise coming out in the Mason with the naked girl in a Mason thing, you know, style.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's our next episode, part 2. We're going to have a week's break so we can recharge our batteries, and hopefully we'll see Betty in a week. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Betty.
You're welcome.